Hello everyone, this is Mohammed from Python Ninja YouTube channel, and in this tutorial we will learn together polymorphism in object-oriented programming. Polymorphism is a Greek term related to different forms of inheritance. So we will build a parent class and apply inheritance to another child classes. Polymorphism also allow code in a superclass, here it's a parent class, to work in its subclasses. So the parent class has child class, and we want to make functionality at both parent and child classes. Polymorphism also gives us a way to typically use a class and its parent. However, the child class preserves their own method as they are. So the first thing to apply the polymorphism is to have parent class, and the inheritance should be exist. Okay, so in general, polymorphism is a programming mechanism in object-oriented programming. And this means that there will be different forms of inheritance. So we will start now coding a parent class and child class, and learn together how can we benefit from polymorphism when different forms of like method calling can be achieved within the parent and child class. So let's start as usual by identifying Amazon, okay, like as a general case study, and we will use the special method here, which is init, to build the constructor. And as we learn together, the constructor is used here because when we create the instance, we will submit the mandatory attribute like name, age, and salary. And now we will save the name, okay, and here it will be name, and we will store or save the age. So the value of age will be stored in self.age, and we need to store them because we want to access them in the underneath method. And we will store the salary as okay. Usual, we store the salary. Now let us add a method. Let me to add write code method, and okay, and we will return only after string, and this after string shows that this name that we will enter is able, or let me to say can write code. Okay, now we built a class, this class Amazon, and this will be this class will be the parent class in this case. Okay, and we will build another class, and this class will be child class to be able to apply the polymorphism in object-oriented programming. So let us build here. I have Python engineering, for example, a class, and we learn together how can we override the attribute, and we will override the attributes. Okay, now, and we will do inheritance from Amazon. So the inheritance should exist because we need the we need to apply the polymorphism, and we need to override the attribute in the parent class. So we need to have the inheritance. Okay, and now because I want to override the attributes, okay, in the from the parent class, and I add another attribute related to the Python engineering department. Let me to use the grade, for example. Let us to define grade equal none. And because I want to use keyword argument, so I want to use here, sorry, I want to use none as default value for all of these. Okay, now I have none. Okay, and for the salary, I will also have default value of none. And now I have a grade here if none, and I want to add all keyword arguments I have, which in this case my top arguments. Okay, and in this case I want to use super, and we learn together that super is the method that allow me to access a method in the parent class. For example, I want to access this special method to have its own argument, so I use super here, and inside there in it I use only the keyword arguments, which are the argument of the top. So this super, we learned together in the past that, or in the previous tutorial, that super is a method allow me to access to the constructor, okay, or the method. Here in this case we have init, okay, from the Amazon, and we now inserted all keyword arguments. And in this case, I want to only store the grade here and the grade value and self.grade. Please go back to the previous tutorials to learn more about the attribute and the class over methods overriding in object-oriented programming. And here I want to, for example, override the method here. I have method here which is write code. Let me to define the same method. Okay, why not to copy paste? I want to copy paste here. Okay, but I want to add here can write, for example, Python code. Okay, and now I have the write code method in the Amazon, and this will return to me that the employee here is able to write code. Now I have another class, inheritances exit. I extended the attributes here, and I have the same method from the parent class, but I change it, okay, and by adding Python. I will have another, for example, a class that has to say that I will use class data science, okay, and I want to insert it from Amazon. I do not need to change the constructor or override the attributes. I will directly write, okay, write code, the same thing, and I want to add this line here, but I want to change this able can write here. This can write Python. He can write Python, for example, code Python code, and Python let me to say and hard code. Okay. Now look at this. We have a method in the parent class, and this has different functionality than the same method in the parent class. So these are different methods because we don't have the identical output, and both are related to different class. Even here it is different because we have Python here, but I have R here. And other applications you can choose like other function with other functionality, not just return a string line. You can return a numerical value after calculation. Okay, now what I did so far is similar to what we did in the previous tutorial. Okay, now let us create instances. So I want to create a first instance from Amazon. Okay, and in this Amazon I will have 3 mandatory attributes because I have taken the construction name, age, and salary, and I want to say name is Ali. I want to say the age is 35, and I want to use the salary of 5,000. Okay. Then I want to create an instance from Python engineering. So I have Python. Okay, let us to use Python as it, and I want to use it as it. Now I will have the name is equal to Mira, for example. I have age equal to 40. I have salary equal to 6K, and I will have a grade of senior. Okay, this is the attribute that have been extended before senior. Okay, now I want to create another instance, this instance from this class, which is data science. So I let us to use data, and this data is an instance from the data science, and there are typical number of of attributes, okay, that is located in the parent class, because I didn't extend anything or override anything here. So I will use name, sorry, oops. I have the name equal to Tom, and I have the age equal to 25, and I have the salary, for example, equal 3,500, okay, or 3.5k. Now we created 3 instances. I want to be greedy from this Python engineer, and I want to create another one. So this is Python, this is Python 1, okay, and here I want to create the name of Sarah, and Sarah has like 28 and has salary, and let me to use, because I want to use different form here, I have linear, okay. Now what also we did so far is typical to what we did in the previous tutorials. We create in a parent class, we did inheritance, and we created instances here. Now, how can I apply the polymorphism, or how can I benefit from the polymorphism? In our case, the polymorphism meaning that we can do inheritance, but at the same time, this is similar to method extend. In the way of that, we have a method here. I have inheritance in the child class with the same methods. The method has been, the content of the method is changed, and this is the meaning of the polymorphism, which is I see is similar to what extent to method extend, which is in the previous tutorial has been introduced. And in the another class, for example, here we have the same method but with different functionality. And the polymorphism, I create, for example, employee, for example, as a list, and inside this list I want to place Amazon, I want to place Python, I want to place data, I want to place Python 1. Okay, these are the 4 instances. Okay, I can loop inside, okay, for employee. I can look at this now to see how can we return our benefit from the polymorphism. I want to print the instance dot write code only. So what we did here, we created 4 instances, we placed them into a list, and I did a for loop, okay, and in this index, okay, I will use I will use it to extract the what exists in the method.write code. When we call the method write code, it will has different like execution, because we designed it to be as it. So for these instances, we loop over them and we print the same method, or we call the same method, but calling the same method will show to us different forms or different shapes, okay, of this write code. So let us to execute this, and you can see when I called write code, okay, method from the Amazon, I'm supposed to print can write code, and now Ali is can write code. Then we moved in the iteration to Python, and in Python this should be write Python code, yes. And now in data science we have Python and R code, and similarly we did for Python 1. So in general, the polymorphism, you create a child, you create a parent class, and you create an inheritance in the child classes if you have more than one, and you can loop over them, okay, over the instances, and recall the method that call the same name or that hold the same name, and here in our case is write code. According to that, you will see different result when you call a method with the same name, and that is appeared here when we have different form of execution when using the same method at different classes, and that is the polymorphism, which like the different form of inheritance or different form of method inheritance. And simply you have a method in the parent class and the same method in the child classes, and you call them, okay, to see how each method within a different class can behave, and it's similar to a class extend to a limit. And that's for today's tutorial. In the next tutorial, I found that it's important to highlight the inheritance to build .dict data structure. We introduced the dictionary data structure, but now we will also add the dictionary data structure, and we still need to complete other sections in the object-oriented programming in the next tutorials.